It's a new year, but it's the same old shit. Welcome to the Spitball Media Podcast. This is where we take it out and spit on some of the top entertainment stories of the week. It's our first episode of 2024. My name is John Draper. Shaheen, this is our first episode of the new year.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year to you and B Show and the whole chat.
Yes, Happy New Year. And of course, B Show, very excited to kick off the new year. We got a lot to get to tonight, don't we?
Yeah, holy shit. This might be the most topics that we've ever tried to tackle in one show. So we're going to
It's a
start
lot.
setting records this year. Thank you guys
Jesus.
very much.
Yeah, and whatchamacallit, but we want to thank all of you for hanging out in the free chat right now and for checking out the show. But just a little program note early, you want to consider in 2024 heading on over to good old patreon.com/spitball media. That's where we've maintained nothing but budget pricing. $5. You're now somewhere in the high hundreds, if not possibly 1,000 hours of exclusive content. What do you think, Shah? Possibly 1,000 hours? Is that possible?
I think we're over 1,000.
Probably over.
Yeah, we're over 1,000 easily.
For $5. I mean, honestly, is there a better bargain anywhere in the podcast world?
No, I would say there's not a better bargain anywhere else, really. It's hard to say. Even Aldi can compete with our prices.
That's interesting because I'd like an Aldi's. B-Show, are we the Aldi's of podcasting for Patreon?
We may be. And Aldi, I'll tell you what, man, I used to sleep on Aldi because growing up, I always thought it was like a dollar store version of a grocery store. They got some good ass shit in there, man.
They do. They don't have a lot of things that you probably need, but the shit they got's pretty cheap. Shah, you got an Aldi's by you?
Yeah, we got two actually.
Whoa.
Now I only go there for snacks because they have a lot of European snacks. I don't really trust their meat and stuff, so I wouldn't.
I wouldn't buy meat. No.
They have great cheeses. I'll give them that. Amazing cheeses and I got some prosciutto from there, some salami, shit like that. Like cold cuts, I trust. They're pretty good with cold cuts and cheeses, but
I didn't know they had cold cuts. I thought it was just non-perishable.
No, they actually have fancy imported ones because keep in mind they're a Swiss company, so a lot of
Are they?
Yeah.
Why don't they have Swedish meatballs? Is that like an IKEA stronghold right now?
Yeah, I don't know. When I lived in Germany, Aldi was the main grocery store. That's
Did not know that.
Yeah, that was the main grocery store in Germany. Yeah.
Shah, hold on a second. You have a pug looking lovingly into your eyes. It's so adorable.
Yeah, he was crying on the floor because I've been working all day. So he's he's trying to spend some time. So
look at that little loaf. This is like a baby Jabba the Hutt. My goodness. Bisho, look at that little son of a goose.
I know, it's just wrinkles with two little arms coming out.
Look at that guy. Oh,
it's like a baby walrus.
I miss having a dog.
16 years old, man.
Wow. Holy God. Listen,
107.
If that dog could talk, he would tell you to go to patreon.com/break-the-app. $5, same price all year round. We just keep adding to it. Thank you to the many people who have been a part of that Patreon. They get exclusive content each and every week, plus 2 monthly bonus shows. I mean, B-Show, it's such affordable pricing.
It is. I think maybe the only thing that competes with us is a Costco hot dog, which has been $1 for 25 years. Then I read an article earlier that they're considering increasing prices again. So we're not going to do that to you.
No, we're
not
not
going to be like
we're never
those fucking pigs.
No, fuck that. No. We're never raising prices. Inflation be damned. Let's give some shout out to some people chilling. We got Chris Matthews. We got Slave Cheeks just joined Patreon. Thank you, Slavey Cheekies. Joe Punches. Love the Punches. Love the Clark and Cass. My good friend Marquise Johns. He just celebrated a birthday recently. No kosher food. I don't think there is. I don't know if that's actually true. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Jarek Braxton's in there. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody as people kind of jump in and out. But guys, we got a full fucking plate going on here right now. Full plate. But before we get started, we want to remind the Patreon people that this weekend you'll be getting a link for the return of the triumphant question and answer show. B-Show, a lot of people looking forward to probably going to get some sick questions coming our way every month.
I would imagine. I don't think we've done a full-on Q&A since October or September. Yeah, I put a kind of a half-flaccid one out there for me just to see what people wanted to hear me talk about in November. But I would imagine with all the movies that have come out, holidays, I mean, shit, let your minds go wild. These questions are probably pent up for everyone in the chat room. Ask us whatever you want.
Yeah, Shah, you love that Q&A. You must be dying to get the Q&A going again.
Yeah, I actually miss it. We haven't done it for what, like 4 months, maybe?
Yeah, it's going to be 4 months. So
Yeah.
we'll probably, hopefully, it won't be a thing where it's like, listen, there's too many questions, but we're going to have to piecemeal this out. But if it looks like it's going to be that way, we'll figure something out. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Before we get started, I have a very, very interesting story to tell you because it was just New Year's Eve. And I want to ask these guys what they did New Year's Eve. Bisho, did you go out? You just had a little back at the house party thing going on there?
Yeah, just hung out. I ended up getting sick. I think it was right after we recorded our show last week. I just like my face felt like an overinflated bike tire, and I
Hot.
just slept for like 24, 25 hours straight. So we didn't do shit. We just hung out at the house. My daughter went to a friend's house for a family party, but we just kind of hung out with the little guy here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Shah, did you hit the town or what did you do? You had your mom's, right?
Yeah, I actually went to my mom's. My mom threw a party, and dude, it was the weirdest thing to me
Oh
because
God.
my mom is in her 50s, right?
Okay.
She's in her mid 50s.
Tread lightly, but go.
This woman threw a party like a 20-year-old. I mean, I'm
No,
talking
you don't
about
say.
I'm talking about a DJ. I'm talking about
Wait,
drinks.
What?
There was probably 70, 80 people there. I mean, the neighborhood was like loud as
That's
fuck.
how we get down, Shah. That's
There's
how we
people.
get down.
Dude. And the crazy thing to me is, like, I'm her kid. I'm feeling like the old head here, thinking like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? And most of the people were my age, which is really weird because I asked her, I was like, yo, I don't know anybody here. Who the fuck are these people in their 30s? And like, who are these people? Right.
Wow.
So then I discovered that she had brought in, I guess there's a deal where there's a lot of doctors in Iran that if they get their doctorate in Iran, they can come here with a visa and study abroad and get it again. So a lot of them are in Temple. So she somehow knew one of them through her friend or whatever. And she basically opened her house to all these Temple kids that are here as like refugees almost.
Wow.
And they all got like retardedly drunk like, at her house.
So it was a Temple University Iranian
party
house party.
So
Iranian
weird.
House Party sounds like a great movie franchise. I don't know how no one has started that.
I took my girlfriend there, and she was the one acting like a 60-year-old. She was like, "This is too much for me. This is like the music's too loud. There's too many drunk people here." I'm like, "Oh my god, we're the young ones. How the fuck are we acting like this?"
I should have showed up. I should have rolled up, but it was fun, right?
Yeah, it was fun. I just didn't know anybody, which was kind of awkward because I'm at
your mom's house. That's a great feeling.
People? I don't know any of these people.
It's like, so what are you doing here? So, well, my mother lives here.
Right, that's how I felt because like a lot of people are like looking at me like I'm the stranger here. I'm like, dude, who the fuck are you?
Well, you know something. My wife was working till like 11:30, and we had neighbors that were supposed to come over, and I couldn't. I didn't eat all day because I was pretty hungover from the night before, and I decided I was going to get. You guys familiar with Dave's Hot Chicken? Do you have that by you, Shah?
I've heard of it.
Okay, have you heard of it, B? Because I don't know how local it is. Or Dave's.
I've
Hot
heard
Chicken.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
so
it was
Dave's,
a southern thing, but yeah.
Yeah, so they opened. I'm right by a big campus, so I decided I'll go pick that shit up because I got to get some firewood because I'm gonna have a fire because of mild weather. It was like 40s, very clear. So I was like, oh, maybe like the last fire of the year, first fire of the night kind of deal. So I was like, I like hot food. I'm just gonna get 2 mediums, play it safe. I've only had Dave's once before, and I got the Dave's. I got the mac and cheese. I got the fries. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a good power meal, so I can start drinking, right? I go to sit down. I put on The Sopranos. I started watching The Sopranos again, which that first season is mad rough. And I bite into the first sandwich. It's a 2-sandwich deal. And I go, man, this medium is like, woof, like, holy fuck. And the sweat starts coming, and I'm like, oh man. But I keep eating it because I'm a fucking, gavone. And I just keep eating it. And I'm like, man, these mediums, I got to be careful with this shit. I don't even know if I can have this second one. This is all the food I got in the house. Right. So I walk back into the kitchen. I'm like showering myself in sweat. I go to grab the second sandwich. I look at the receipt, and the receipt is all printed out, which I did not look at when I left. And it says 2-sandwich combo with fries, mac and cheese side, first sandwich medium, second sandwich Reaper. Reaper being the hottest of the hot, the Reaper chili pepper on the Skogel meter. For those of you familiar with it, it is the hot. That's it. There's nowhere to go from here, yo. It's now, mind you, I had put hot sauce on my table because I thought the medium B-show would be too medium. Thank God the seconds, I don't know how the fuck I did this shit, but it fucked me up for the whole night. Like I completely barely drank. I was like, like I'm not feeling well. None of the neighbors came over. One couple fell asleep. The other couple might be getting a divorce. And I was just like, my wife comes home at 11. I haven't drank anything. Shah, what's your hot food ratio there? Do you go for the super hot, mild hot, medium hot?
I think super hot kind of just destroys food. It's not that I can't handle it. It's just like there's no enjoyment to it, and it takes the flavor away because all you taste is heat.
It's true.
So I mean, I guess habanero is like where, like, you know, jalapeno habanero is where I'd like to stay at. The ghost peppers and scorpion peppers and Carolina those are more so like challenges. I don't think those should be on food. You know what I mean? It just kind of who the hell wants to get like a Carolina Reaper burrito? Like, just ruins the food.
Disgusting. Misha, what about you?
Oh fuck no, I don't mess around with that shit. In fact, we did a hot chip challenge this past summer. A friend of mine turned 40, and he had all of us were sitting around drinking. He had all of us do a piece of it, and I didn't realize there was grease on my hand. So I instinctively like licked my hand after I ate the chip. I have GERD, and after I ate the chip, I was like almost like hiccuping because
it was bad, yo.
It was like Dumb and Dumber when the guy takes the atomic pepper and his fucking ulcer goes. Like that's what it was like.
Yeah, I had to go. I had to go to the mobile station. Nothing was open. I had to go to the mobile station to buy Pepto Bismol, which is like $5 for like 6 little capsules. And I'm like sick. I'm like, this is like 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like it's 9 o'clock at night, and I'm completely like I'm too sick now. And I'm taking Pepto Bismol and like making tea because I cannot get my stomach. I mean, it was disgusting. I'll never do that again. Like I will never. I like hot food, mild hot, that you could taste it, like you said, Shah. Otherwise, what's the point? It's like no, like it ruins the whole meal.
Yeah, I like some heat. Just I don't want it to destroy my taste buds. I actually I had a terrible experience with habanero peppers because I chopped them up to make my own homemade salsa, and I should have wore gloves because when I went to pee, my nutsack was on fire.
Oh no! All on your nutsack, like the Ice Cube song.
Yeah, I'm you know,
my nutsack,
dude. That shit is no joke, man. It's like,
yeah, I can only imagine habanero sauce on the ballinis.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I had some of the juices left on my fingers, and when I grabbed my dick and balls, both were on fire.
Yeah, I mean, how many people have made that sentence, B-show? I don't know. I mean, I had too much of the juices on my dick and balls.
I'm one of a kind.
One of a kind. Well, listen. Speaking of one of a kind, I want to get to this Katt Williams interview because I think it's probably the best entertainment story of the week. And we're also going to have a very involved chat about Beau Is Affraid. But I wanted to ask you both, since we've been on the air previously, did either of you get to catch any films in the last week? Because I got to go to the movies one more time. I closed out 2023 with one final film in the theater. Shah, I know you had a lot of shit on deck, but did you ever make it?
No, we actually postponed Poor Things to this Friday, so tomorrow.
This weekend. Okay, so you're going to see Poor Things this weekend. Maybe one of the best reviewed films of the year of 2023.
Which I'm surprised by, dude, because I didn't think it was going to be. It's a very niche like movie. I feel like it's like a surrealist, weird, and that guy, he has a lot of weird themes in his films. I mean, most of them involve incest and like just weird shit that I don't think would appeal to the masses. No, but there's a lot of hype behind it, man. I haven't heard a bad thing about it. You know,
I think some of that hype is because of what's her face there, being the star,
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, because she's a big star. I mean, she's a fucking big star. She's great, very talented. Bisho, did you squeeze anything out?
No, I was gonna go see Iron Claw, and then I ended up getting sick, and it ruined like 2 or 3 days. So I couldn't justify like being on the couch for a day and a half, then taking time to go see a movie.
Okay. Chris Matthews is saying he saw American Fiction. I heard that was fantastic. That's getting a lot of attention. That's definitely something I'd like to check out. I don't know, Chris, if it's playing everywhere. Like, I just don't know if it's playing all over the place. But it's definitely something I'm going to try to check out. So I went and saw Ferari last Saturday, excuse me. I went and saw the movie Ferari. It's a Michael Mann movie. Michael Mann is probably best known for Miami Vice, the TV show and the film, and maybe one of the greatest movies of all time, Shah, in my opinion, modern films, Heat. Are you a Heat fan?
Yeah, absolutely. I always flip flop between Casino, Heat, and Goodfellas, and it's usually I usually stick to Goodfellas, but Heat is up there, man. Heat is definitely up there for me.
I mean, I think
one of the great.
Heat might be one of the more low key influential movies coming out of like the 90s. B-Show, are you a Heat guy?
Familiar with it? I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Oh my God, you've never seen
Really?
Heat?
De Niro, right?
Yeah.
Pacino, De Niro, Val Kilmer. Good Lord, it's a classic.
I don't think so. No.
It is a fucking classic. There is a bank robbery scene, much like the Old Boy, right, Shah? The Old Boy fight scene and the Heat bank robbery scene are probably two of the most imitated. Like, I think Grand Theft Auto was based on the Heat bank robbery scene in a lot of ways, the franchise.
By the way, one of the worst 4K transfers of 2023. I bought it when it came out on Steelbook on 4K, and it was like $35 or some shit.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so dark that it actually ruins it. It ruins. It's very crisp. Like, the image is very crisp and clean, but the movie is so damn dark that it kind of takes away from the movie for me.
B-Show, you've probably seen clips from this. I mean, look, there's Necromaniacs. I like your Necromaniacs is right below Pacino with the rifle there. That's great. It's about a 12-minute scene. It's sort of the crescendo scene. I mean, actually, there was a real bank robbery in LA with people with head to toe that emulated, where they had to get armor-piercing bullets to put the bank robbers down. But B-Show, it's a great movie. It's the first time Pacino and De Niro were ever in a film together, and they're only in a very limited amount of scenes. They're in one particular scene together that is very, very. It's that scene I'm talking about, Shah, in the diner where they finally meet. It's a pretty epic scene.
Yeah. Real random. Do you remember the movie Righteous Kill?
Yes.
Did you like that?
No, it's terrible. It's the only other movie they've ever been in.
Yeah. I watched that back in the Blockbuster days thinking like, oh shit, they made another movie together. So bad.
Abominable.
So stick to Goodfellas and Heat as far as
they also did do that Scorsese movie, The Irishman, together. But
yeah. I still haven't seen it.
I'm dying to get your opinion on that. But B-Show, you like, this scene is just, good God. I mean, it is the most it is gruesome. It's like cutting edge. It is just what you see in here. Brutal. And I think the opening scene of The Dark Knight actually might copy a little bit from this movie.
I can see that.
I can see that as well. So
I
anyway,
feel like I've seen this before, but I can't recall any.
You would know. It's just so iconic.
You would know, dude. It's a legendary movie. It's like,
it's iconic. It really, really. And by the way, the prequel is coming out. There is a prequel coming out. So Michael Mann, phenomenal film director. He's got a pretty good background of films there. Biopic about Enzo Ferrari. We've watched the trailer. I think we all were very taken by the trailer. It's a very good looking trailer. Very cinematic. It takes place in 1957, post World War II Italy, with the resurgence of racing after the Nazis, were defeated. And Enzo Ferrari is played by Adam Driver. Now, this is the second time Adam Driver plays an Italian after House of Gucci. And its co-star is Patrick Dempsey. He's in the top left there with the white hair. He's playing an Italian racer. And Penelope Cruz and Shailene Woodley plays the mistress of Enzo Ferrari, his long-term mistress. I have to say, I was super excited to see this movie. I knew nothing about it. I don't know anything about Enzo Ferrari. And I saw the movie, and I still don't know anything about Enzo Ferrari. It was not a traditional biopic. It was based on one particular time in Enzo Ferrari's life where they were broke and they had to win this very high-end race in order to attract investors. Otherwise they were going to be bankrupt, and they were competing with Fiat and Maserati. And it's a good-looking movie, but very flat in terms of, it doesn't really have a lot of heart to it. It's a great cinematic movie. Have either one of you heard anything about this film? Because I feel like it has, no pun intended, no heat, B-Show.
I've heard absolutely nothing about Ferrari. When you mentioned Napoleon earlier, the only thing I've even heard about Napoleon is that people thought it wasn't good. So I'm really surprised. I'm going to look up Ferrari's box office.
Yeah, and the reviews, because I think it got lukewarm reviews. Shah, have you heard anything about this movie?
I've heard quite a bit, but it seems to be the same thing all around. It's that it's a beautiful looking movie. The cinematography is great. It's not a bad movie. The only thing is, we didn't learn anything about Ferrari. It's just it's an odd biopic because if they focus on a specific time in somebody's timeline that's super famous, like let's say Donald Trump or Malcolm X, right? Somebody like that. You can focus on certain periods in their lifetimes, and that's fine because we already know enough about them, right? Like Donald Trump, I don't need to see his casino days. I could more so focus on just his presidency, right? Like,
okay,
Malcolm X, you can focus on the end of his life instead of him from childhood. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ferrari, we don't know much about him other than that he made Ferrari.
Right.
So it would be more interesting if they gave us a little bit more than that. But I mean, it's kind of odd. But yo, I didn't know Michael Mann did he did a shit ton actually.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Well, I know he's done a lot. I just didn't know he did these ones. He did Manhunter, which I fucking love.
Understated film.
The Muhammad Ali movie. I didn't know
he did Ali. Yeah, he did Ali.
He did Ali. Collateral with Jamie Foxx and
Not a super fan of that. It's artistic. It's
a
gorgeous movie, but I thought the plot was a little like dry.
And Public Enemies with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp, Christian Bale. I believe that was about Melvin. Was it Melvin Purvis? Of hunting down. They killed that famous mobster in the movie theater. Yeah, he's got a great background. Bisho, you seen a lot of his films?
I've seen Mindhunter. I've seen Ali.
Collateral.
I don't think
Collateral's a weird fucking movie.
Did I say Mindhunter? I meant Manhunter.
Like the Manhunter. Yes, Manhunter is the prequel to Silence of the Lambs, which was redone.
Yeah, Red Dragon.
It's Red Dragon. It's the same story, almost. By the way, it's the original Hannibal Lecter in the Manhunter movie. Is the guy who went Brian Cox, who went on to
Brian Cox,
from Succession. Brilliant. He's a brilliant. His Hannibal Lecter is fucking brilliant, man. Fucking incredible. That's a great film. That's a very 80s movie. But Shah, all of his films, they're very visual. They have the music, the score. He has a very similar palette, don't you think?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's mostly action movies, fast paced, but at the same time, like artsy almost. You know what I mean? They're not your typical action movies. They
have a lot of heart to them usually.
Yeah. There's a lot of pride in his work.
And Shah, you see, this is a neon film.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Neon has this out, Eileen, and that Fall of the Window. What was that?
Anatomy of a Fall. God,
Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah.
God,
so they got 3 movies in the theaters. So that's pretty dope.
And they all might have some Academy Awards there. Bisho, now I don't know what the this is not a terrible box office, wouldn't you say? It's kind of modest.
Yeah, I mean, where's the budget? Is it on here?
I don't know the budget, but it did 20 million so far.
Yeah, 20 million worldwide, 13 domestic. It opened to 3.9, so let's say 4 million.
I'm going to say this was a $30 million film. It was all shot in the same place. It's got good. I mean, when you see it, it's gorgeous. Like the race scenes, you're like, holy shit. And there's a very traumatic thing that happens in the race, but it all takes place maybe in about a 3 or 4 month span time with one flashback, a minor flashback. Now, here's an interesting thing. Most people might know this if they know anything about Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari's son, Piero, who was a product of a mistress who was about 8 in this movie in 1957, maybe about 10 or 11. Yeah, this sounds about right because it's not a bad movie at all. He's still alive and still runs Ferrari. So the 10-year-old in the movie, which is the bastard son of Enzo Ferrari, runs Ferrari. He still is control of Ferrari, which I thought was incredible. But it did make me want to learn more about Enzo Ferrari. Like because he seemed like this guy who liked to fuck a lot of broads and had no personality and didn't have any passion other than the cars. So Penelope Cruz is very good. Shane Woodley's very good. He's very good. Adam Driver, but lukewarm. I'm disappointed in it. But I would not say it's a bad movie, Shah. I think if you guys saw it, you'd be like, damn, I thought this was great. But in a theater, when you see it with that, like these Italian racers in the 50s, dude, they got no top on the fucking car. Like they all have to they have to write letters before they enter the race to their families because there's a very high probability they're going to be killed. It's fucking insane, dude. Dude, there's an actual, what do they call that when you're cut in half? There's a technical term for that, right? What is that called? You guys?
It's not vivisection.
You're literally torn in
bisection.
half.
Bisection.
Yeah. There's a scene. It's a big scene where a car, because the old Guineas, they like to stand by the side of the road and wave flags and jump up and down, throw pasta at you and shit. Well, a car goes off the fucking rails, kills a whole bunch of children, and the driver is literally cut in half. You see the driver, you see his torso here on the road and his front and his legs somewhere.
This is in the movie?
Yes, 100% in the movie.
Oh, wow. Well, I wouldn't expect that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Michael Mann knows how to do violence, Shah.
Yeah, I mean, a Ferari movie. I didn't expect any violence in that. It's very weird.
Wow, be 110 million. It did 20 so far. This is never recouping.
That's a big budget for Neon.
It was a joint feature with was it S? Fuck, I had it up a minute ago. Fuck.
Yeah, Neon doesn't do $100 million movies. I mean, but
I was going to say 100 million is a gigantic budget for
it was Neon and another studio that went together on it.
Well, it's a big deal because it gets a lot of attention. It's got big names in it, big names attached to it, but not killing it at the box office essentially. But I would not say not to see it. I think when it comes to streaming, it would be worth renting the money because the race scenes are intense, yo. Like these 50s, these 1950s Ferraris, like no one could even afford the cars. Like he's selling a car to the Sultan of Brunei. He's selling a car to like the King of Saudi Arabia because nobody can afford these fucking cars. You know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, Ferrari is just, if you're going to be a rich person, a Ferrari is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to, you got to see these. I'm not a car person, but my God, these things are gorgeous. And they look dangerous as fuck. So yeah, I went and saw that. You know, I think we're going to see Poor Things Shah this weekend too. I'm taking the kids, but I really want to move on to this Katt Williams thing because this is getting so much attention, so much press. So, the people are now today responses are happening from people like Cedric the Entertainer and Ricky Smiley and Michael Blackson has already responded. So I want somebody to walk for people in the audience that aren't aware of what this is. Can one of you give them sort of just an abridged version of what basically has taken place this week with Katt Williams?
Well, it's like 2.5 hours of Katt Williams essentially being Katt Williams and going on his nonsense. But there was a lot of truth in the nonsense. He called out a lot of people, pretty much every comedian I can think of other than Dave Chappelle. I didn't hear him mentioned, but I haven't finished the whole thing, to be fair. But, you know, he called out Ricky Smiley. Basically, Ricky Smiley was on the show before.
Yeah, the next Friday or what? Wasn't next Friday, was it?
Yeah, Friday After Next.
Friday
he claimed that he was supposed to be the pimp. And, you know, Katt Williams called him out on it because he said, I wrote the lines. You know, I'm the one that designed the fucking outfit, which I believe him. Like, Ricky Smiley is not a funny dude. I saw that guy. I saw him on doing stand-up on Comic View for many years.
Didn't he used to host the BET
Yeah,
show?
he did. He was terrible.
Okay, he used to host it.
He was never
very
funny.
unfunny. Very
never funny.
Not even TV funny.
He accused also Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh my God, he buried
stealing one of his jokes, which, you know, I can't confirm because I don't remember this Comic View commercial. But according to Katt Williams, it was such a large joke, like it was one of his biggest jokes.
It was a big joke
in the late 90s that, you know, BET's Comic View actually used it for their commercial. So, I mean, if that is true, he obviously has proof that he did that joke before, you know, the Kings of Comedy, which came out in 2001. So,
well, Shah, it also would seem, now this was with the Shannon Sharp podcast. Shannon Sharp, you know, former NFL player, more of a TV personality now. You know, he's a very
terrible, by the way. I'm sorry.
Terrible.
That
podcast.
Guy is. Oh my God. How
maybe
does
one
he
of
have
the
a large
worst
show?
Like, because he's famous, and you know, you know, he's a rich, famous former athlete.
Oh,
but
dude.
You could see B-Show Katt Williams, you know, unafraid. But Shannon Sharp was not looking to draw this from Katt Williams at all because Katt Williams basically took a shit on every huge black entertainer for the past 20 years.
Well,
yeah,
Chris Matthews
go ahead.
Chris Matthews just mentioned all the ones that he didn't diss. And ironically enough, it's all the ones that I like. Like, all the ones that he shit on are the ones that I don't enjoy at all. Like, I don't think Ricky Smiley's funny. I don't think Cedric is funny.
Steve Harvey, he killed
Steve Harvey's
He killed Steve.
Yo, he called him a real life Mr. Potato Head. I fucking died in my car.
When he said, which I didn't know the flat top was fake, by the way. I didn't know that was not real. I had no. Did you guys know?
Dude,
that?
I don't think it's fake.
No, dude. People saying maybe it was fake, like he was fake, like he's always been bald.
I think Katt Williams is crazy, man.
Well, he's out of his fucking mind. Bisho, what's your interpretation? Because this is pretty big.
So Katt Williams has been on the Illuminati conspiracy shit for a while. Okay,
he's insane.
So it kind of crosses different streams here, because at one point he'll talk about, and basically it was all the original Kings of Comedy except for D.L. Hughley and Bernie Mac.
Who's passed
He said
away.
It was like Cedric and, like you said, Steve Harvey, that were stealing shit from everybody. In fact, he called out Steve Harvey and said that he basically stole his jokes from Mark Curry.
Mark Curry. Yeah, I know Mark Curry is, sure.
And then, in fact, he even pointed out, I didn't realize this, that after Mark Curry wrapped up Mr. Cooper, he did Steve Harvey for WB, and it was almost not the same show.
It was the same. Yeah, I remember. I remember
premise.
Mr. Cooper because what's her face was on there from 21 Jump Street.
Holly Robinson Pete.
Holly Robinson Pete. Thank you. She was on hanging with Mr. Cooper. These people are more closer to my age. Like Katt Williams and I are the same age. So like it's a little different for me. He destroyed Chris Matthews, saying he's been destroying Tiffany Haddish for a while. Yeah. And we're forgetting what's his face. The little guy. The little guy talks like this. What's his name?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. I never remember his name. I have nothing against Kevin Hart. I don't remember his name.
Well, but that's the whole point too, is he pointed out this whole group of comedians that he says stick together conspiratorially almost, that they're not funny, that they don't write their own jokes. And he calls them plants and says that they were platformed. Like his thing about Kevin Hart, which I kind of get, but I don't. He said Kevin Hart cut his teeth on the East Coast. Yeah, and he's the only comedian he ever knew that came into LA year one with a development deal. And it's like, okay, but he could have got that working in New York or Boston.
I don't know. I'm older than you guys. So I know Kevin Hart from the Patrice O'Neal, Colin Quinn days.
Yeah.
I lived around the corner from the fucking, from where they all would eat and hang out in the West
Cellar, right?
The Comedy Cellar. I lived around the corner from the Comedy Cellar. So I was there all the time, that block, all the time. The bars on the corner, the Chinese food place, the pizzeria, Minetta's Tavern. This is all we were. We lived there. And when we didn't live there, we still hung out around there. So you would see in Minetta's Tavern, before it even became a fancy restaurant, which is right across the street from the Cellar, I had my 28th birthday dinner across from Patrice O'Neal, Colin Quinn, the little guy from Opie and Anthony, the bald guy, Jim Norton, the guy, Greg Giraldo. No, he's a Boston guy. Greg Giraldo, all sat right next to my whole band. The bands that we had the dinner for my birthday, and they were right next to us. We were the only people in the restaurant. We were the only people in the restaurant at Minetta's Tavern. And they were giving us, it was like, it was that scene. So Kevin Hart is from that scene long before he was super famous or was in LA. So he was right about that. But I'm sorry, Bisho, you were gonna say something.
Well, no, but that's my point, is like, I understand, yes, maybe he came to LA and it's odd that he had a deal and he fell in with all these people that he's claiming to steal, other people's shit.
Right.
But it's not like he wasn't putting time and effort in.
And he's clearly talented and he's earned a lot of his success.
The interesting thing that he does, though, is, like I said, he mixes the weird Illuminati shit with this, though, which I think taints his credibility a bit.
Right.
But he has talked about shit before. Like he was calling Michael Jackson out back in, 2002, when people still didn't want to publicly do that. He says he mentioned shit about R. Kelly back in the day. And for people to say, they say Katt Williams never made it like a Kevin Hart because he was hard to work with or he was unreliable.
Yeah,
let's be honest. Katt Williams, I'm not going to say I'm his biggest fan, but I remember the first time I ever watched Pimp Chronicles Part 1, I was laughing my balls off.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
he's got great shit.
It was like the first time I ever watched like Eddie Murphy or
very funny
like that.
Man.
Very
funny guy, and he's good in movies. He's good. Didn't he do it? He did something. He might have done like the Louis C.K. show. But in the last
couple of shitty movies.
Well, no, he did something on TV. It wasn't Larry David, but he did something like that. Like when Louis C.K. show was hot for a minute, he had a small part, something like that. And I was like
Lucky Louie or something.
Might have done Lucky Louie or something like that. But I was like, I hadn't seen him in a while, and I was like, man, Katt Williams is fucking funny. Shah, I know you like Katt Williams too, right?
Yeah, but let me say this first. I meant to say this earlier. As far as Kevin Hart, he's from Philly. I went to Kevin Hart shows in 2012, 2013 in South Philly. He used to do them monthly at the Laugh House. I mean, you could search this up, and probably 2010s to 2015, wow. He was doing shows on South Street all the time in front of 50 to 100 people. So he definitely put in time. He's from Erie Avenue, the worst part of Philly. There's a mural of him. Like, he works from the ground up. He's not calling him a plant. Like, I literally saw this, not that I knew him or anything, but I literally saw this guy come up from doing local shows every weekend. Like, he was known in Philly way before anywhere else, because he's from here. Yeah.
And Chris Matthews is saying he also killed Puffy. But he also had done the Boondocks, which is amazing. Boondocks is
I love that
amazing.
show.
Listen, it's interesting because this kind of came out of nowhere and dominated the news cycle. But he also brought up something that I have said, I think, to you guys off the air, and I think I may have said this once on the Soup or twice on the Soup about Joe Rogan, which is, Joe Rogan promotes the same 8 comedians that aren't very funny. And, with maybe very few exceptions, but I think he was referring to what I refer to as the LA people who just followed Joe Rogan around the Comedy Store like a dog, who were never that talented, who are not even close to being as talented as Rogan was, who is not a good comedian. He's a great auditor. Clearly, we'd be idiots to not acknowledge Joe Rogan's podcast career as super groundbreaking. That'd be a very dick move to not say he's not amazing at podcasting. Yeah. But I'm not talking about him discovering like a Tim Dillon who is from the East Coast, but there is this cavalcade of people that are all interconnected. And he brought the Rogan shit up to Shah, which came out of fucking nowhere, I thought.
Yeah, he's a smart dude, man. I really like listening to Katt Williams. He said something. I know you asked about Rogan, but I want to say this before I forget it. You can tell this guy studied comedy. Like, he mentioned it himself. He said he studied the Monty Pythons because he didn't understand why that shit was funny.
Yep.
And he wanted to understand so he could cater to a larger audience.
Insane.
I don't know how many other comedians did that, where they didn't understand a specific genre of comedy, and they were like, "Yo, I'm gonna try to put myself in their shoes to see why this is funny." But he also said a lot of bullshit. Like, he said he was reading by 3 years old, and he got accepted. He got accepted to college by 7, and he said he read 1,000 books a year. Like, dude, what the?
I forgot he was in Grand Theft Auto 4. He has a good cameo in that, apparently. And I think he played a pimp named Slickback in the Boondocks.
Dude, he was even signed to the Diplomats, to Dipset, back in the day.
Was he really?
Yeah, for like a couple months. He didn't do anything with him, but he toured with him. He had a Dipset chain and all that.
By the way, there is a very odd footage of him in somewhere in the South at a hardcore show with no shirt on, moshing and slam dancing into people from about 18 years ago.
Yeah,
just random
Monty Python. It's like Monty Python. He's
random ass shit. There's Katt Williams all by himself in a pit, not a big show, like a local hardcore show somewhere in Georgia, and he knows what the fuck he's doing, which is fucking. People are like, Katt Williams is moshing like fucking moshing.
No, I've seen it.
He knows what's up. Yeah, it's incredible. He's a fascinating dude. And by the way, he's back because I didn't know this motherfucker's playing an arena by my house. He ain't playing some little club. He's not playing the fucking comedy club at the mall, which Tim Dillon plays. He's not playing this little egg theater, which is great, which I've seen good people at. He's playing the fucking arena where like Raw was last month, B-Show. So he's obviously touched on a nerve, I think, with a lot of people.
I think so. And I think this kind of goes to what I've been noticing about like internet fame and shit. And we've talked about this. Someone else talked about it on a podcast I listened to, so I won't claim it's all mine. But like, there's 2 types of famous. There's like, hey, you're on the internet and you're on these commercials and you're on this corporate shit. But then you have this whole other shit over here that Katt Williams is a part of, where I hate to say underground because that's an overused cliche. Like, this is a dude who's not platformed, who's not on commercials, who's not on all these big corporate, messaging shit like fucking They Live, and he's doing arenas. He's doing like 100 arenas a year.
Yeah,
he's huge, arenas. And I think that's part of what drives him and pisses him off is you've got like a Cedric the Entertainer. Like, I remember when the original Kings of Comedy came out. I remember being like, other than fucking, I knew D.L. Hughley from the show, and I knew,
well, he was on TV. Bernie was the best.
Him and Bernie. I knew those two. I knew they were funny.
Bernie.
And I saw Steve Harvey. I'm like, wait, that's the guy from the WB show. And Cedric, who the fuck is Cedric the Entertainer? And these guys are supposed to be the kings of comedy. I've never heard of half these guys.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that, where he kind of feels like they stole that shit and it's not legit.
Yeah, he's probably still bitter from that shit from 30 years ago. What the fuck?
Yeah, but the thing I think that he shows his ass a little bit on is when he talks about Kevin Hart not being legit. But I also think that's because Kevin Hart went out publicly and was like,
for Tiffany Haddish a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and he took up for Tiffany Haddish, which is also,
which, by the way, kind of interesting how that worked out for Tiffany Haddish, but that's a whole other episode. Shah, let me ask you a question. Prior to this, wasn't he kind of off the radar though? Like a lot of people just feel like because he was off everybody's radar, but he had already booked these arenas a long time ago. Like, it's not like the tickets were lagging or anything like that. Like, do you think a lot of this is just possibly it would be Jerk Brexit is saying the whole Rogan scene sucks except Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis is not in that scene really because he's in the East Coast. I'm talking about the LA people that some followed Rogan to Texas.
Like Brian Callen and those
unfunny people. Like, but Shah, do you think possibly this could have just been a great marketing scheme on his part, a part of his genius to push tickets? Which I am all for. I think it's great.
I mean, I think naturally he's probably trying to sell tickets, but at the same time, I think he was very coherent. Like, he seemed like he's sober now. I know he says he never uses. I know he says he's never used drugs before. But I mean, there's clips of him getting beat up by a 7th grader, and he looked terrible. You could tell the guy was on some shit. You could tell he was on something.
Yeah, he seemed very sober, by the way. Very
he was in the room.
Succinct. Oh yeah, very, very. By the way, comes across from an IQ standpoint. I would like to see what his IQ is, Bisho. I think he has a very high IQ.
I watched an interview, and I think it was one I referenced before, but when he's talking about Django, and they're asking him his opinion on stuff, and he said something about, he said his IQ is like 147 or something, which is genius level. Yeah. So who knows what it really is, but he comes off like a really fucking smart guy. So
really does. I mean, like, look, take it with a grain of salt, but everyone's talking about it. Everyone's responding to it. It's being shared everywhere. And I think he may have what I think is one of the best memes from what he said to Shannon Sharp about, can we play that? Are we allowed to play that one thing? It's just too good.
Let me see if I can find it.
For if you have not heard this, because we're going to move on because we want to talk about Beau Is Afraid. But like, Shannon Sharp was obviously defending a lot of these people he was attacking because he interviews them and he doesn't want heat. And then Katt Williams says to me, I think solidifies his certifiable Stanford Binet genius. If we
got
play it. All right.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I got it.
Okay. This was his response to Shannon Sharp defending some of the people he was insulting.
And to be fair, I think that's why he said he came on the podcast, because he had
10 seconds of genius.
Was it Ricky Smiley who was on the podcast, or Cedric?
It might have been Michael Blackson. Do we know, Shah, who the reason why he came? Was it Ricky Smiley?
I don't know why he came on the show. I thought he just came on just to give it.
No, Shannon Sharp looks like he's in ill shape, doesn't he? Good Lord. Yeah. Looks like cock diesel, yo. Damn.
But he said one of those guys was on Shannon Sharp's show, and Shannon Sharp didn't question what they were saying.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was Ricky Smiley.
It was Ricky. Okay, unfunny guy. All right, please, if we have the audio, this is just 10 seconds, but I could listen to this for an hour.
Got to get the sip in.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
It's the greatest thing I honestly swear to God, I'm not. This is not like for the show or to be like whatever. I heard that I leapt out of my skin, because it's not even the genius of the line, which he made up on the fucking spot, but Bisho, the delivery, the calmness, the sip of the drink.
Yep.
Didn't even make eye contact with him till the end. I sent that to you. I sent that to like 12 people. I sent it to you guys first, but I sent it to 12 people.
Yes.
Genius. I mean, am I wrong? Does that just, to me, you can't go anywhere from there.
No. And it's like, it shows just how natural he is. Cause someone said something, I think it was the Chappelle special. Now I'm mixing up my shit. He talked about Jim Carrey and how you can't teach Jim Carrey because he just has a natural ability.
Oh yeah,
you can see why Katt Williams is so fucking entertaining. He's just naturally gifted intellectually, the way he composes and presents himself when he's not getting beat up by a junior high student. But like that clip right there, the glass up, kind of mulling it over
pinky
like
up, pinky up.
Yep. And it's
Genius.
not like you.
Shah, right? Like genius. Like people are gonna be putting that line on shit, I think, for 20 fucking years.
Yeah, no, he's a natural, man. His comedic timing is on point. And like you said, he made it on the spot, man. He freestyled this shit, and he's a walking meme. And I mean that as a compliment, since he's a comedian. He's a walking meme.
I love it. That's a high we should call the episode The Walking Meme. And it's much respect to Katt Williams. I don't care if it's true or not. The fact that we're talking about it, the fact that it had an impact on so many fucking people. Like, my God, it was trending and trending out of nowhere. The first thing I went and looked and saw was how much the tickets were for the arena show he's doing by me in a couple. And not that, I swear to God, I was like, if he does this for an hour and a half, take my money. I'm gonna be like sitting there going like this, like I just saw The Godfather or something. But yeah, Chris Matthews is like, how did I miss that? And then Jarek Braxton says, Katt said Harvey Weinstein, offered to suck his penis in front of people in his office. Yeah, I believe it.
No, and then afterwards he said that he saw a bunch of other black comedians working for him. And he said every time he stepped in the room, they would put their heads down. And he was like, oh, yep. I wonder how you guys got here.
Well, anyway, if you haven't heard it, it's 3 hours. There is like a half hour. Somebody may have put a 36-minute version together.
That's the one I saw. I didn't know it was a 3 hour.
Yeah, I think we saw the hits. But
no, I watched the whole 2.5 hours, man.
Is it a lot of hits? Okay. I'm
at the last like 40 minutes. Yeah, I watched most of it.
Genius. Speaking of genius, I felt obligated to bring this up on the show because over the weekend, both myself and Bisho O'Brien decided with Shah that because of his strong feelings about the Ari Aster film Beau Is Affraid, being his favorite film of the year and his favorite horror film of the year, that we had to watch it. We knew it was on Showtime. So it was a 3-hour film, and I got to watch it, and Bisho got to watch it. And I have to say, I regret not seeing it in the theater. I regret not paying more attention to it when it came out. But I did have to watch it a second time in order to really understand what I processed. So before I say anything else, because Shah is very well versed in this film and he's been talking about it for a long time, I have yet to really talk to Bisho about this in any capacity. And I don't know if you've had the luxury of seeing it a second time, but I wanted to get your take on it because it is really a very interesting, powerful, unique movie.
It is, and it fucked with my head because there's some shit I can't figure out because there was enough symbolically that was tied together that it seemed like it was making some sort of sense or it was a certain type of movie. But then there's so much other shit that happens where it's like, okay, is it this weird symbolic movie of this guy like hallucinating these things? And this is his interpretation? Or is this just like a batshit crazy fucking throw shit at the wall movie that's not supposed to make sense?
Right.
Unless it's these little things. So I do have to watch it again because I finished it the other night and I just was like, what the fuck did I just watch? It was really good.
Really good.
It was hard for me to figure it out because every time I was on one train of thought, it just switched to something completely like a different style. And I'm like, wow, that doesn't make sense. What the fuck's going on? So
yeah. And I will say this, it was not what I thought it was at all. And I don't know what I thought it was, Bisho. I think you agree with me. Not what I thought. Like I was completely off on what I thought this movie was.
So I watched a movie starring Danielle Harris a couple years ago called, I don't even remember what it's called because it wasn't that good. But it's this woman stuck in like a time loop and you're trying to figure it out. And it ends up that all these people she's interacting with are people from a psych ward. And at the end, you come out and you realize that, oh, she's hallucinating these things. That's where I think I texted you guys. I see where this is going.
Right.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. I also did watch a 20-minute sort of explanation on certain things there. Now, I want to say this before I get to Shah. One thing I want to bring up in this movie is Joaquin Phoenix is exceptional in everything. I don't think anyone is sitting there going, oh, he's really good. Yeah, we all know he's great. We've all established this. Everyone in this movie is very good. Like, very, very good. Amy Ryan and Nathan Lane as the doctor, husband and wife. Tremendous. The young girl, tremendous. Parker Posey blew my mind. Didn't know she was in the fucking movie. Big crush on her from the 80s and 90s. She's my age. She's from my sort of indie scene. Still gorgeous. Patti LuPone as the mother. Better see her name on the fucking Academy Award supporting actress fucking list. She was tremendous, B-Show. She fucking steals the goddamn half hour of that movie.
She reminded me a lot of Toni Collette from like Midsommar, where like you're not necessarily expecting all that much, but it just blows you away with how good it is and how dialed into that cunty fucking like overbearing mother.
Cuts, man. It cuts you, bro. It cuts you deep, man. That shit cuts me deep. And that ending with fucking the TV actor Jeff, I forget his name. We might have to look him up.
He's in a lot of things and has a very distinct voice.
Very distinct voice. He does a lot of television. The lawyer. That motherfucker monologued the motherfucking shit out of that ending. My God, the drama in that. So I don't want to give away too much of the plot because I just came to cable, and I really think people should check it out. Joe Punches is asking, it's like intertwined with anxiety. I think it's interpretive, but Shah has been way versed in this film. Saw it in theaters. Shah, are we close to where you think this should be interpreted as?
I mean, I don't think there's a right answer. I think that's most of us. And B-Show, I'm just going to correct you because I know somebody in the chat or in the comments is going to. Toni Collette was in Hereditary, not Midsommar.
Oh,
someone's going to correct
you.
Are you
thinking of Florence Pugh? Unless you're thinking of Florence Pugh.
But
Hereditary, you're right.
Okay.
I mean, for me personally, I think this was about relationships and how chaotic the world is. And you got to keep in mind, this was shot, not. I think right after
during COVID.
Right?
I think it was shot during COVID.
So, I mean, with all the, I guess, invasion of Foot Lockers and everything else, it kind of like when you look at this inner city, setting that he sets for the beginning of the movie, it's very fucking chaotic. You got punk dudes in the background, you got naked dudes, you got
naked
thieves,
dudes,
you got drug addicts.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. So I think he attacks so many different things, like not feeling safe anywhere, really. And anxiety, I think, is a huge thing in this.
Huge.
Us depending on medication, us fighting the medication, the complicated relationships between, parents, ultimately failing your parents, there's just so much in this movie that's packed.
Yeah.
The ending kind of confused me.
The ending reminded me of the ending of that fucking movie where Matt Dillon is the serial killer.
Which one's that? I haven't.
Yeah, you did. We talked about it. The 70s movie where Matt Dillon at the end, it's basically Dante's Inferno, where he's in the seven.
Oh, you were talking about the Jack movie.
Yeah. What the
house that Jack built?
House that Jack built.
Yeah,
Remind me of that a little bit. Yeah.
Really?
I thought.
Well,
so,
I guess in a way it kind of goes batshit crazy.
Yeah. Now I want to, Shah. I don't want to talk because I feel like people are going to be checking this out. It just hit cable. And it's a very long movie, and I do think it's going to have some representation at the Academy Awards. By the way, Joaquin Phoenix is nominated for Best Actor in the Golden Globes category. I don't know if he's going to make it. It's very tight to get to that 5 for the Academy Awards, and it's pretty deep between the big player films. But I was very impressed. Bisha, I was super impressed. I really, really was with everything about it.
Yeah, it was so layered, and I think that, like Shah said, there's no correct answer. I don't know if it's meant to be completely figured out narratively, but just the driving force of that movie is just the Oedipus complex with the overbearing mother, him being so anxious to please her and do anything wrong that he avoids anything, and he can't even stand up for himself. Like, it's another thing I read about, it's a subversion of the hero's journey. So the Joseph W. Campbell hero's journey of you're forced to cross the threshold, and then you have to do the trials and find the goddess, and then finally you self-realize. But in this case, he is so crippled by anxiety because of his mother that's part of what ties into the end. It's like that's the trial because you know what I mean. It doesn't go the way that the hero's journey normally does.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
So I get that. But then there's all this other symbolic shit with the phallus and the dad and the brother and
very Greek tragedy. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's crazy because he's the son of a billionaire, but he lives he could have been this affluent, almost like a Trump, dare I say, type person. But instead, he's like a Woody Allen character, Shah, on the 10th level of anxiety.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of referring to earlier when when I mentioned that, he felt like he was failing his mother, I think the main attack on this movie, though, is on how addicted we are to drugs, because
prescription drugs, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie, like he's clearly mentally ill, and that's a piece in all of his movies. I mean, Hereditary is everybody's mentally ill in Hereditary.
Midsommar.
Yeah, Midsommar. I mean,
her whole family's fucking crazy.
And she's crazy. And also the family dynamic is also very much portrayed in all of his movies. So it doesn't surprise me that the family ratio. Or the family dynamic is one of the main focuses. Like the mother and the son relationship is very weird. And I've known people that were super rich, but they didn't follow their mother or father's path, and they kind of like they look down on them, And who knows? Maybe Ari grew up like, I don't know his background.
Yeah, I don't know that he talks about his personal life so much. Yeah. He seems to let his work speak for himself.
But if you remember in the beginning of the movie, he's afraid to go outside, and when he goes out to get his medication or whatever, the pharmacy's fucking just loaded with people. Yeah. So this kind of shows that, like, everybody's on anxiety pills and depression pills and all of these different. We all just depend on it, right? But does it also cause the craziness and the chaos that chaos that's outside? So it's almost like a
nature versus nurture. That's really what it is. Was he born this way, or was he turned this way by his mother?
Yeah.
My interpretation, there's a lot of videos of this, and I encourage people when they see it. And be sure you should do this too. I'm sure Shah's probably done this already. See what's out there. There's people who make very complicated interpretations, but one of them I thought was genius was that his mother, because she owned a drug company, was using him as sort of the guinea pig for all of these drugs.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. When you look at and again, we're not going to get into too many particulars, but when he gets to the house and he sees himself in all these advertisements, that's him on the drugs. He was the trial. He was the fucking trial for these drugs that made her fortune, ruined his life, and have crippled him as a middle-aged adult with anxiety. It's fascinating, man. I think they're going to be talking about this shit for a long time.
See, I've never heard of that. Here's different.
Shah makes sense, right? Too. I'm just saying it makes sense.
No,
right?
It makes. But that's why this is a dope movie, because when it's left for interpretation, like Holy Mountain, right? This kind of reminded me of that, like a comedy version of the Holy Mountain.
I didn't think this was funny at all.
No, but it had some funny bits in there.
It was rough, man.
But it's a journey, right? Like it's a cinematic fucking journey. It doesn't feel like it's 3 hours long. You're on.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. But I could see people being turned. Look, you don't like 3 hour movies,
No, I don't. No, right. I don't. I don't. Like Midsommar dragged more than this to me.
It did. I think so. The last act dragged quite a bit. Bisho, I'm sorry. What were you going to say there?
No, sorry. I was just going to say, and here's the interpretation piece. There was a couple times where you mentioned how he's on all the posters and stuff. I thought at some point him seeing the same types of people and everyone he meets is just his own psycho interpretation of, you know what I mean? So
I didn't think that. She created that environment. If you see all the people who were torturing him, who lived in his shitty town, they all work for her. They work there.
Yeah.
That's part of the process, is that he was put in there almost as an experiment while taking this medication.
But see,
you got to take it with water.
I didn't know if that was his paranoia or if that was legitimate. See, that's where it fell apart for me, because I couldn't figure out legitimately what the narrative of the story was. Was she really doing that, or was it just his paranoia? But that's one of the great things about the movie.
By the way, how about that Bill Hader cameo? Did you guys catch the Bill Hader cameo? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know who that is. No.
Bill Hader is the UPS guy. You never see his face. He's the UPS guy who calls him on the phone. That's Bill Hader. Yeah. Wild cast. Amazing cast. I really encourage people. I really, really encourage people to watch this film. It's available on Showtime. If you have Paramount Plus, you now have Showtime, and vis-a-vis, if you have Showtime, you have Paramount Plus. And it's fascinating. And I really think we could do a whole, not even joking, I actually contemplated thinking about us doing an episode about it if Bisho sees it again, because I think you need to see it a second time, because it's that dense. But Shah, I mean, you were on the money. It would have absolutely been in my top 5 favorite films of the year, especially performance driven, but also the uniqueness. It was gorgeous, gorgeous shot, gorgeous movie. That scene with the daughter with the paint, man, I wasn't ready for that shit. Right, Bisho? I was not ready for that.
No, and like that's the other thing too, is I couldn't figure out that whole family, because that's what I'm saying is, at first I was thinking along the lines of, okay, it's a traditional movie with some crazy shit going on. then the longer it goes and it all unwinds, it's like, wait, did any of this even really happen? Like, and that's why it
Yeah,
was
I felt
just
like
so
it
hard for me
happened.
to follow.
I felt like it happened. I think those people kind of had a Munchausen by proxy kind of vibe. They were healthcare people, but they like to keep you sick, like that, like
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. And then Amy Ryan is like, I thought you were an angel, but you're a demon. Like all that shit. I was like, yo. And then the crazy PTSD guy. By the way, fun fact: the PTSD soldier doesn't speak. The reason he doesn't speak is because he doesn't know English that great. He is the guy who played the French dad in the very beginning of whatchamacallit, Inglorious Bastards. He's the guy who has all the French daughters who sits there with and he's the opening scene. Who speaks
Oh,
French?
you're right.
That's the
You're
dad.
right.
Oh, I
You're
did a deep
right.
dive shot. I went in. Yeah, that's him.
You're right.
That guy who fights the penis monster. I probably shouldn't have said that, but
Well,
I don't want
was
to
going to
ruin
ask you about that before we get off this topic. Since
Mhm.
you mentioned the dick thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I think that was a real person, but he sees it as the monster. I think it was a real person. I think she, I don't want to, that's it. I don't want to do it anymore because I think people should see it. It kind of ruins the movie. But Bisha, do you think that was a real, yeah, I think it was a real
the
person.
Oedipus complex,
The
phallus,
twin, all that
symbolic.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, very symbolic. But people, please check it out. It's brilliant. Shah was on the money here. It probably would have been my second or third favorite film overall of the year. I think that and the holdovers. Joe Punches, we're not checking out just yet, but I'm not that excited about the Echo TV show with Daredevil because I like Echo. I'm a huge Daredevil fan. I'm a David Mack fan from the comics, the creation of Echo, the character. I just want Daredevil back in Daredevil, but I don't want Daredevil getting beat up by Echo. Just like I don't want him banging an unattractive She-Hulk. But I do want to talk about two quick things because we have a lot to get to in the Patreon. First and foremost, Blockbuster this week has removed all displays and articles of physical media in every location across the United States. I don't know if Best Buy is out of the country. Everything, they're all gone. All displays are gone. They will not carry any form of physical media. Very sad day, especially considering there were some pretty big physical media purchases. And this was such a part of their legacy as a store. Shah, obviously, you are in this panel, you are above and beyond the resident expert here. Not surprising, but sad, right?
Yeah, very sad. I mean, we talked about this last year when they first announced it. But next up is Target. I mean,
yeah,
physical media is going away. Walmart has ramped it up though. They've picked up where Best Buy left off.
Walmart in a while, yeah.
Yeah, but apparently they're doing a bunch of exclusive steelbooks now. They're pressing their own physical media. So I mean, they're getting in the game big time. So I don't think it's the death of it. It's doing better than ever as far as how much stuff is coming out, but it's all online. It's not selling as much as it used to, but there's so many companies doing it now. I don't see it going anywhere. It's just going to be an online thing. So
yeah,
but it does suck though. I like the experience of going out every Tuesday and
yeah,
Tuesday
I used to love
going
to Best Buy watch to look at all the DVDs and stuff. Man. It was fun,
Yeah.
Bisho, your thoughts? I know you do collect some physical media.
Yeah, I wanted to start collecting more because we saw more and more stories of, due to contract disputes with Warner, people purchasing things on streaming services and then them getting rescinded. And it's like, well, I fucking paid 12 or 15 bucks for that. Like, why the fuck can't I watch it? So I might be buying some more stuff. I picked up a couple of VHSs a while back.
Oh, wow.
Just for the VCR. But like, yeah, man, I don't know if it's going to end up being a completely gone away thing. I think like Shah said, Walmart has a huge selection.
Yeah, I don't go to Walmart, so I don't know what's going on in there. The Walmart by me is really rough and tumble, so I don't go there.
But I think you're going to see stores like that that are still going to carry it, and you're going to see your other stores like Best Buy, Target that are more general purpose stores. They'll probably move more away from it. It's just really sad because, like, as a kid, even before I was buying my own shit, one of the coolest things to do when we went to the mall, Mom would be shopping and we'd be like, hey, let's go to fucking FYE or let's go to Sam Goody and let's go see what movies they got.
Sam Goody, sure. Coconuts, you name it. Borders. I remember Borders, the bookstore. That was a big thing in Manhattan. Dirk is in the chat. Shout out to Dirk. Marquise has a great line. By the way, happy belated birthday, Marquise. No more bins of Iron Eagle at Walmart. That's a great line. But we want to do something really quick here before we head over to Patreon because we got a loaded gun to shoot over at the Patreon. There was a list of the horror properties that are coming out for 2024. that released, I think, earlier this week. That was pretty involved. And it really, I think, sets the stage for what I think could rival, and I might be eating these words at the end of the year, people, might rival 2022 on paper. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but if we could just take a quick look at this list. I did send it, the horror calendar for 2024. These are all
Yeah,
just
the preview is not shown in the chat from Twitter for some reason, so
Oh,
I'm
is it?
looking
Oh, I'm
for
so
it.
Oh shit, that sucks.
Everybody else for some reason shows up as a preview except for X now.
I know. Well, that has. Thank you, Elon.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let me see if we might not be able to. Put
Yeah, I can probably.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. I got it. Let me see if I can
Okay,
enlarge it.
let's see if we can enlarge it. If not, we can just, do a little glance over. Wow, holy shit. Okay, there's some interesting things here. Some stuff I've never heard of. I know we can't make this bigger, B-Show, but there is some very big properties on here, like very big.
Yeah, it's not enlarging, so let me see if I can read them. So, first one, January 5th, is Night Swim, which I'm seeing really bad reviews of already.
Terrible. Wouldn't watch it. Terrible.
February 8th is Baghead.
Baghead.
I don't even know what that is.
We'll have to look into Baghead.
February 9th is it Lisa Frankenstein?
Yeah, that's Diablo Cody wrote that. The trailer looks funny. It looks like it looks very funny. It's a modern day goth girl who digs up a guy from the goth period and makes her his boyfriend, but he's like still like a zombie and weird and he's gothy. It looks fun. I thought it looked funny.
Yeah, and I guess the play on words is the craft set Lisa Frank, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for, I can't read this. I'm looking for something on my phone.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Now we have Imaginary. That's that Imaginary Friend movie that we talked about, I think, on Patreon, Shah, that we kind of decided was a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, and right before. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know if I agree with you with this rivaling 2022, man. I think 2022 was probably.
Well, there's some big bombs. There's some big blockbusters in this motherfucker. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we moved over Winnie the Pooh 2 on February 16th.
Oh, Argyle. What the fuck is Argyle? Oh, Argyle is February 12th. That's the guy who did Kick Ass. That's like a spy movie. Oh no, that's not that's in a different list. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. March 29th, Ghostbusters. We watched that trailer.
Huge. Looks great.
April 5th, we're going to watch this trailer.
Yeah, we're going to discuss this on Patreon. Go ahead.
The First Omen.
Yeah.
April 12th, Godzilla Kong.
Going to be a big movie. That could be a huge movie.
Return to Silent Hill.
First movie's really good. Second movie's really terrible. Don't know what we're going to do here.
May 10th, I haven't heard of this one. Horoscope.
No, me neither. Might be a piece of shit. Who knows?
May 17th, The Strangers Chapter 1.
Huge. Shah, I'm down for a new Strangers. I think that could, and that's directed by like somebody big, isn't it? Like Frankenheimer? So like somebody out of left field is directing the new Strangers, Shah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, but that's probably the most exciting movie so far out of the list.
Ghostbusters looks amazing. Omen.
I just mean like horror.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. Well, it falls in that world kind of soft. But do we know who's directing this? I know it's somebody big, guys. Like big.
Strangers?
Yeah, it's somebody like who doesn't direct horror movies. Oh God. Okay. The new one is
Rennie Harlan. Oh, Rennie Harlan.
Yeah, Rennie fucking Harlan from the 80s is directing the fucking Strangers. Not Brian Bertino. Rennie fucking Harlan, guys. That's what the fuck is that about?
Well,
that would be the equivalent of like, Michael Mann doing the new Maniac reboot.
Well, remember, he directed probably the last good Nightmare on Elm Street movie, Part 4.
That's right. That was a long motherfucking time ago.
Yeah, in like 1988.
We all had curfews, I think, back then. What's next?
I was barely more than comeback then, 1988.
Yeah.
Let's see. June 7th, The Watchers. I'm not sure what that is.
I feel like we've heard of that.
June 28th, A Quiet Place Day 1.
I like the Quiet Place movies. They work in the context of what they are. I enjoy them. They're very successful. I like the first one better than the second one, but they're good. They're good watches.
August 2nd is Trap.
Never heard of it.
Speak No Evil, August 9th.
What is that? Okay.
Alien Romulus, August 16th.
Okay, so we're in August. We got a new Omen, a new Ghostbusters, a new Godzilla, a new Strangers, and an Aliens movie. I don't know. It's looking pretty packed to me. Next.
September 6th, Beetlejuice 2. That's going to be
a
big
new
one.
Beetlejuice. Look at this shit. Good Lord.
Joe Punches in the chat said lots of Blumhouse.
Yeah, some of these we'd never heard of, a Blumhouse. But that's Saw in September. Saw 11 in September.
October 8th, Smile 2. That'll be
Jesus
big too.
Christ. Excited.
October 25th, The Wolfman.
Yes, Shah, The Wolfman. I'm excited about this. I think we talked about this in Patreon, right? That's for Halloween.
I don't recall that. Dude,
no, because somebody quit. Because somebody quit the movie. Hold on, I'm pulling it up now. The Wolfman, 2024. Lee Warrenhall, that's the guy who did the original Saw. Christopher Abbott, Shah. We like him. He was the main star in that Cronenberg, the second Cronenberg kid movie.
Oh, Possessor?
Yeah, he's the star of Possessor. I like that kid. He's solid as fuck. I like that kid. He's the Wolfman. I like it.
Oh wow.
And of course, B-Show, go ahead. Let him know, B-Show. Let him know.
Shout out to our buddy, Uncle Creepy. Terrifier 3, October 25th, just in time for Halloween.
Jesus Christ.
December 25th, Nosferatu.
Oh, Shah comes out on Christmas. Shah, it's a Christmas Day release. What the fuck are they doing? Oh, no.
That's very... No,
did you know this?
That's not a good move, dude. That's not...
Unless they think it's going to be like the kind of movie people go see because it's so fucking loaded to the fucking teeth.
I don't know. I think that's a bad move, dude. That's a bad move. Oh,
my God. I did not know this. Holy shit. Okay, B-Show, go ahead. Got a
now,
lot
the rest are to be announced. So,
which is just a couple. Hit the big ones.
Just the big ones. Okay. Maxine.
Oh, it's probably in the fall, but I have a feeling it's going to be summer.
Yeah. Salem's Lot.
Huge.
Let's see. The Crow.
The Crow. That's probably going to be the fall too.
And that's pretty much it. There's a couple other ones that I haven't heard of, but
guys, not for nothing. You got enormous shit here.
Yeah, I feel like these movies are bigger movies than the 2022 ones. But dude, I don't think any year could fuck with 2022.
Well, a lot of it, but the shock of 2022 was the charm of it was these were lesser known one-off films. Right?
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, these are bigger films, but like those movies. I mean, we had Texas Chainsaw in 22, Hellraiser, Halloween did a movie.
The Predator.
But then you had fucking Pearl, X, Barbarian,
Texas Chainsaw. Yeah, we had a bunch of stuff on.
Men.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
2000. Nope.
I don't know, man. I'm excited for Nosferatu. I'm excited for The Strangers. I'm excited for Ghostbusters. I'm excited for the Smile sequel. There's no way the Smile sequel. I'm all in. I am totally all in on there. But wow, I might be going to see, dude. Nosferatu's on Christmas.
Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
There better be a movie ticket in my stocking that year.
Well, next week we'll talk about some of the non-horror films because there's a lot to get to. We really want to get to the Patreon, so we want to give a little shout out to everybody, and we're encouraging you to please consider joining us on the Patreon because that's where all the fun is. But we're gonna have some pluggy plugs to our good pals at Deathmatch Outlaws, the Drucifer Yarcifer Experiencer. The Cassette Classics 86 on the YouTube, the Down Under Thundercast, Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle. They're reuniting, I believe, in about 20-something odd days. Necromaniacs podcast. You want to be checking them out each and every week. The Inhuman Experience podcast. Ringsiders Wrestling on YouTube. My good friends from the UK are back. Mojo and Dirk's Most Dastardly Show. The Garden of Doom. We have the Old Guy Metalcast, and of course, our good friend, Mr. Anderson's clothing line, funkbetty.com. You want to be checking them out. Get some winter threads. MJW Games, Cherry Jesus on YouTube. And he also has his band Kaiser, so you want to check his album out. My good buddy Sam at the Red River Podcast. I think I'm going to be joining him in the next month or so, doing a very exclusive interview with him on his Red River Podcast. And of course, his band Playing Dead, constantly putting out the hits and the videos. The Bayou Geeks, Fatay 316. Him and I had a little offline chat about the similarities in our Iron Claw review there. You want to check his review out. It's very solid. The High Marks Podcast, the Midnight Mass Creature Cast, Weekly Detour with Anthony Elson and Teddy, and the Guns and Geeks Podcast. Shah, for the new year, anything happening lately on the whole Planet Mondo channel?
Yeah, I'm working on some ideas. I'm going to start covering weird stuff. So one of them is going to be Heaven's Gate. One of them is going to be the bombing of West Philadelphia when the cops bombed Philly.
Yes, I know. We talked about that.
So I'm going to do a bunch of different weird. I'm going to do one on Pennhurst probably.
Uh-huh.
So little video essays on the oddities from the internet.
Essay.
Yeah.
I dig it. And of course, you want everyone to subscribe to that Planet Mono channel.
Please. Yeah. And subscribe to us one here. Hit that fucking like button right now.
Hit that like button. Tell a friend. B Show, what's happening on the B Show Brian channel?
I was kicking an idea around the other day regarding House of Wax, the remake, and Tourist Trap, and why they're so similar, because there is a story there, although it's not nefarious. So I got to figure out how to make that work. So check out bshowbrian.com for that, coming up sometime in the next month or two. But I wanted to shout out Meine Freunde, Cleric of Chaos. He's doing some cool stuff with his band. I know that, I don't know if they're touring or if
they're touring.
Yeah, he mentioned something recently, and he has a Discord up. So I'll have to put the Discord link up on our Twitter. But no, great dude. And
I love Cleric of Chaos.
Just want to plug him since we were talking about a lot of our other friends that got stuff going on too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cleric of Chaos. And if you are touring, let us know. We'll add it to the Pluggy Pluggertons. We're going to head over to Patreon. We got a shit ton to get to. And we're excited for the new year. We're excited to have you guys back with us. We're excited to have the first year start off with our full entertainment. Even though this is going to be a very contentious, weird year, we're just going to stick to the meat and potatoes of streaming, entertainment, music, podcasting, and all that fun stuff for the whole year here. So we're going to be here with you, taking you through probably a rough year, but it won't be a rough year here. We promise you that. And we're going to have a lot of fun together. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week on The Free, and we're heading over to Patreon.